in an hour, right now. But it's basically a how-to book on how to shoot a soft target, what we call soft targets, on how to go into a school and kill as many people as possible. She took detail, and it was a she, right? It was a female, even though she was a transgender or whatever you want to call them. As far as I'm concerned, that was a she, female.
2X chromosomes.
Yeah, 2X, that's right.
Was that controversial? I'm sorry.
Well, they can just
it used to not be. It used to be called science.
No,
Yeah,
on this individual, nobody's upset about that.
No.
Nobody's upset about even the mainstream media. You're allowed to, you're not even supposed to point out that this individual's transgender.
Yeah. No, but
Hey, anyone who's listening, you probably might want to buckle up. This sounds like this may.
We're going to get into it here, folks.
We're not trying to be controversial. It's just kind of the way we live.
Yeah. We're not trying to be controversial. We just are.
Yeah. We follow the science.
That's right. Every step of the way. She took notes on Parkland. She took notes on Columbine. She took notes on Texas. Uvalde. And she planned this out for months in advance. And we know it's been put out in the media that she was going to go to one place and she was going to go somewhere else. What we know for a fact, she was originally going to go to Opry Mills.
Okay.
That was the first targeted location that she had picked out. And according to her logic, there's obviously Opry Mills is a pretty populated place. There's a lot of people.
It's got a Bass Pro Shops there.
It does. It does. I can go in there. I can kill the most people possible before I get arrested or shot or killed or whatever. But we now know that the reason she didn't pick Opry Mills because Opry Mills has security.
Oh. It's not a gun-free zone, or
and there's a lot of folks. There's a lot of folks carry there.
Yeah, I was going to
say
they
might have a sign on the door, but a lot of those guys at Bass Pro Shop are.
Yeah, I was going to say I've been to Opry Mills a couple times, and I don't recall seeing many signs.
I was there on Sunday, as a matter of fact, and I did not see a sign.
I've never seen.
So I may have broke the law.
Maybe the Starbucks there or something.
I did carry a firearm in to Bass Pro Shops. I'm going to go ahead and confess that. So
okay, right here.
Well, I'm sworn law enforcement, so I'm allowed. But
yeah, you are.
I thought you were going to say I'm going to arrest you.
No, that's one thing. I will not be arrested anyone forever.
So, in your opinion, should the manifesto be released in its entirety? Or do you think some of it? I mean, maybe a name redacted or something, but
yes and no. The part of it needs to be redacted because obviously we don't want the how-to book to be released. That's kind of it's kind of a no-brainer as far as that goes. So going further into it, she picked this school. This was her second target. She recognized it as a soft target. She recognized it as a place that didn't have security. And she knew that she could go in and kill a lot of people. So she picks out the school, as far as what we know. She has a detailed map of the school in the manifesto. From what I was told, the map of the school was so intricate and well thought out that they compared it to what they would think of an architect doing. That's how detailed the map of the school that she had made in the manifesto was, and I think, I'm not 100% positive, but I'm pretty sure that I heard that she had even gone there at some point and put her phone in her shirt pocket and recorded herself walking around so she could get it right. So she had it all planned out.
So she took some time.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, okay, so I'm going to speak for all the people I think could be driving down the road or maybe watching this on YouTube, and they're like, I see a female on TV, and she's gone into the school. She did a mass shooting. She did it's an atrocity. It's a terrible thing that she did.
100%.
But, you hear the news reports come out, well, we're not going to release her notebook, basically, is what we're talking about. And I'm looking at this going, we're not talking about a former Secret Service agent or former Special Forces person. I don't even think this individual had former prior military experience.
No.
And so I don't know. I just look at this and I'm like, I don't make the connection how this particular lady could have made such a detailed plan that they're afraid to release it to the public, but yet they'll call a special session over what she wrote.
There's a second part to it that kind of breaks it down even further as far as the manifesto goes. She had an obsession with two individuals that worked at the school that she was in love with. And those individuals, to my knowledge, did not know this. They had no idea who she was, had no clue what was going on. But she had wrote about these individuals in great detail throughout the manifesto about how she wanted to be with them in a certain way, and all that kind of stuff. So they being the court system, don't want that portion of those individuals' names and that story being released to the media. So that's why I say 100% I want the manifesto out there. Now, if we have their names redacted, the people that she was in love with that are at the school, I'm fine with their names being redacted out of it. We don't want them out in the public. And then the map, obviously, the architect and the how-to manual being redacted. But everything else, I think it should be out right now.
This is my opinion. This is my personal opinion. I think that
this is a professional law enforcement opinion.
That's right.
But my opinion is I totally agree with you, and I think what we should do is we should have, and I know in today's world it's very hard to get to like some sort of trusted committee, because here's the problem with something like this: if you redact it and it's left to Metro, Metro has a built-in bias.
Yep.
If they left it to Kip Capley, you have a built-in bias.
Sure.
You're probably one of the most conservative members of the state assembly, and I say that as a compliment.
Thank you.
But I think maybe you get a few people to look over it, and only the stuff that's redacted is the stuff that there's a consensus on.
Sure.
So you get like 2 or 3 really conservative guys from the House, 2 or 3 really liberal guys, and they can both propose what they want, and the only stuff is the unanimous stuff.
Sure.
And then you can come, or you can come and say, hey, you know what? I saw the stuff that's redacted. You can soothe the minds of the folks in Lawrence County that go, man, they're covering the worst of the worst. You can go, you know what? I saw the worst of the worst. I saw what was redacted, and no, it's planning. But here's my thing is, everything that talks about motivation, every web page, I'm just going to tell you, and this is something I think we've actually said this on the show before, so we're not afraid to say this in public. But we all know that if this would have been a mega hat wearing conservative, this would have been out before the sunset.
Yeah.
But the manifesto would have been out. But here's the thing:
100%.
You know what? Do I think maps of the school, names of individuals that she had inappropriate obsessions with that they didn't have nothing to do with should be redacted? Plans on how to do a better mass shooting, absolutely. Even what her level of education is, hey, that kind of stuff shouldn't be out there.
Yep.
But I want to know every Facebook group she was a member of. I want to know. I want to know what kind of online conversations she had, because it's almost like, how Hamas and the Taliban radicalize people on the internet. I'm not saying it's true. I haven't seen any of this stuff, but I almost feel like this trans movement, they radicalize kids on the internet. Let's go down that rabbit hole. You know what I mean? I'm sure there's a ton of lawsuits already over this against the school, against Metro. Yeah. But here's the thing. If there's a website out there that was facilitating her radicalization, I think the public has a right to know that.
Yeah, and Covenant has got an attorney that represents the school and some of the parents, and they don't want it to be released because of some of the portions of it. You're exactly right. I'm going to get the opportunity, being on one of the justice committees, to actually be able to go and see it. And once I do that, I'm going to figure out what I'm at liberty to talk about as far as more details involved in it. But another thing that I've really struggled with in the past couple months is, and she mentioned this, and I can talk about this, she mentioned it in the manifesto, that the more people that she could kill, the more famous she would be. And when you get down to that line of thinking about how insane that is, about the more children that I can kill, the more famous I'll be throughout time, I'm all about freedom of information, and I want people to I want citizens to be able to see what's going on, and I want full disclosure for everything. But when that's the motivation behind something, we need to stop glorifying these shooters, I think. I mean, I don't know how you do that in the media, right? With finding the balance of information and, you know, the media world, but these people get famous.
Well,
and
they
this,
specifically look to carry a AR-15.
Mm-hmm.
They look for signature
Yep.
things that they know is going to spark attention.
Yep.
Just know it's going to get attention. So they look for a type of rifle.
Yep.
They go in a certain way. They're looking for a type of target.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so. And for me, I see a lot of targets out there. There's way more than just schools. I mean,
Sure.
I see a lot.
Yeah.
Some of them I don't even want to say on the radio out loud. And, you know, we've talked about
Well, if they
before.
pass that red flag law, you better be careful what you say. They might.
If they pass a red flag law, they're going to ban every notebook because they've already banned one. They've already banned the one notebook that she had, so they're going after notebooks in the state of Tennessee.
They are.
Just beware.
They are.
Unless it's a MAGA. If it's a red notebook, that thing is open. They're going to put
Wide
that
open.
out. But you know, so I see this. The situation that's going in our state right now, and I got to throw something out there, Jared. You mentioned the 2 or 3 most liberal. We tried to get rid of those.
Yeah, I know.
remember?
Yeah, I know.
They came back with caskets.
Yeah,
they did.
Because apparently, you know, this is the part that bugs me, and I think they've allowed it to be. The media has done it. Okay, the media's hyped this thing up.
Sure.
But they've hyped it up to where now, okay, they're going to walk in there with caskets on their shoulders and act like that. You folks, and I'm talking about you folks as far as the Republican side of the House and of the Senate. I guess by not passing red flag laws, you have killed children, which is the most ludicrous things. We've lost our mind
We have.
in this. And I just want to say this, and I'm going to say it every time I get on here, that, you know, of the Tennessee 3, we know that some of those representatives, they had a rap sheet, you know, 4 pages long. So
Yeah, there's pictures of Justin Jones and his girlfriend jumping up and down on top of a metro car. In the
I
middle
believe
of
he's been
Nashville.
arrested. I could be wrong, but I think he's been arrested 14 times, even in violent crimes.
Yeah,
So
linked to the fire too.
yes. So,
in
I mean, we see these things. I'm seeing this go on in our state right now. Me personally, I know that we have heard earlier today some of the others talking about the fact that they thought the special session was a good idea. I think it's a bad idea. I think it's being used to be divisive in this state. I think it's been used as a tool to really push for a gun legislation. I'm also going to keep pushing it out there. No one's saying they want to ban gasoline. You know, they talk about the mental health. Well, if you're going to talk about mental health, there is no way you can go in and just isolate that down to firearms.
Sure.
So is that going to be a topic if that comes up? If they do make this mental health, are we going to talk about the fact that these people are not allowed to own a butcher knife over 6 inches long?
Oh, in,
or something?
that
in
would be
Paris,
a
somebody killed
serious
200
discussion.
people with a semi truck.
Yeah.
Like, so if you have mental health incident, should they take the keys to your car?
I mean, I could do well. Yeah, you got to think too. I mean, a 5-gallon drum of gasoline and a lighter. I mean, you could make the argument that would be more dangerous than any kind of fire.
You mentioned Paris, and I
Right.
got to say it. This is June. You know what June is, right? Come on. What is June?
I ain't saying it.
Gay pride month?
No, it's not.
Oh, okay. No. I mean, I've been.
This is the month that we liberated France, so they would be
okay.
speaking
Well,
German right
that
now.
too.
We're close.
No. No. You did. I mean, I get the emails from Nike and stuff.
Yeah, you know,
Oh,
so
man.
it's June, and so I just want to set the record straight. This is my grandfather got off the boat, and he got off a landing landing boat there, and stepped on Omaha Beach on D-Day, second wave, and had a Bronze Star for going up on top of that. He was the first squad. Their squad was the first one to take out a pillbox.
Wow.
Awesome.
And so I grew up as a patriot. I love this country, and for them to do Pride Month during the month of June, I think that it's just part of a race in history, and you know, I really believe that. So
Yeah.
because
Shout
this
out
is
all
the
the
month we ought to be
veterans.
talking about the freedom. I mean, you mentioned France, so I had to throw that out there.
Shout out the veterans.
That's
Yes.
right.
Everybody.
Hey,
Absolutely.
we love the veterans.
Love y'all.
I'm telling you, we appreciate it. We would not be a free nation without those
right.
men and women that are out there
Absolutely.
giving their
Exactly
lives.
right.
And so we appreciate that, and also the right to bear arms, the right to freedom of speech. It's all encapsulated. You can't separate one from the other. So, I mean, it's a good conversation. I know the manifesto is going to come up. I think this is going to be heated. Let me ask you this question. I'm intending to go to the Capitol, and I'm intending to be there on the 21st. Are you hearing a
forward to
lot
having
of people that are intending to be there?
I'm hearing a lot of like-minded groups that are going to be there, like we are. Put it that way. Now, I'll say this to the folks back home: the left does a really, really good job at getting people where they need to be at the proper time. They're very organized. They're very detailed in how they get their message out there. They do 100%. We know that for a fact. It's kind of like during the expulsion vote when we voted to kick out the three Democrats. Democrats.
You can use both.
Synonymous. They brought buses. I mean, not one, not two. I think it was 3 or 4 buses.
And a hearse.
Yes, they did.
I'm going to joke about the whole casket thing from now on.
They did. From East Tennessee. I mean, they got them from Knoxville, and I mean, they were busing them to the
probably bus from Friday State.
How much did they pay them per day? Do you know?
I heard they pay like $14, $20 an hour.
Yeah, it's
how much? $20 an hour?
It's
$14 to $20 an hour.
You know what we need to figure out is how to sign up, and then go, and then just carry.
Now, y'all have seen the Tennessee Star audio, right? From Nashville. Have y'all?
I don't think so.
Heard it, seen it on the website? Okay. The Tennessee Star released they had somebody go in undercover to one of Planned Parenthood's meetings that they were training people on how to be a professional protester.
Okay.
So check that out. Y'all at home, go to Google, go to Tennessee Star.
Where's that at? I'm going to write it down. Tennessee Star?
Yep, Tennessee Star. You'll just Google Planned Parenthood meeting, and it should come up, the audio from it. They sent somebody in, and it's a full audio clip of what they're training people of how to be a professional protester. Where to go, where to stand, what to say, how to get around the trooper, that kind of stuff. So they're very organized in what they do.
Wow. I'm gonna go watch this video.
It's an audio clip. I can't remember if they still have if the video one.
I'm
is
gonna
there
sign
or not,
Lawrence.
It's got the audio thing. Yeah, do that. Absolutely, he would fit in. No, just kidding. But if you're planning on coming up to the Capitol, and I pray that you do, please let me or let Brandon or let Jared know, and I will make sure that you need to be in the right place at the right time to be the most effective that you can possibly be.
Yeah.
Well, I know Brandon and I plan on getting there early.
Yeah.
We are.
And that's the thing. I think they show up early. They get in lines. They get up in the gallery.
Yes.
And we're gonna have our NRA T-shirts on. Or
we do need to make some shirts.
We do need to make some shirts.
I'm glad you mentioned that.
That's a good idea.
We do need to make some shirts.
Yeah.
And that's something that we need to be thinking about. I hadn't even thought about that.
That's a good idea.
Because honestly, I'm not a paid protester. I'm not a person that goes and does a lot of protest. I've never taken a class online on how to be a protester.
Yeah.
I'm just a disgruntled voter at this point. So that's why I'm going to go.
Yeah.
And if we go, a lot of people don't realize that if we go and if we can get a large group of people there and be in that galley up in the top, then we can actually take up the seats. You cannot reserve the seats.
That's right.
It's first come, first serve. They tried to reserve those in the past. They can't do it. We could get there. We need 300 people
at least
up there. It needs to be full of Republican, Second Amendment.
Absolutely.
I'm talking. We need to be there, and we need to be standing up behind you guys like Clay Doggett, yourself, and all the other representatives that are out there standing up for our rights.
If you've got time in the month of August, specifically on August 21st. If you've got time during that month, if you have to take off from work, I know, guys, I know people at home, I know it sucks. I get it. I understand. But this is going to be one of the most important times, I think, in our General Assembly, probably for the next 5-10 years. As a voter, you need to try to be there. And I know it's going to be hard. But if there's any way that you can go, you need to be there. Because the left is going to be there. There's no maybe on that. I mean, they're going to show up.
Well, I had heard through some in the Tennessee Republican Party, and I heard this straight from them, that there are reports they're going to be busing people in all the way from Oregon.
Wouldn't surprise me.
They're setting it up. They've already charted the buses. I mean, they're letting them know. They're letting the Tennessee Highway Patrol know. They're letting them know that they're going to be there. Yep. They're going to show up in force.
Yep.
I guess there'll be Antifa there.
I'm sure.
There'll be a lot of protesters. I guess the Women's Choice movement will be there. So I don't know what all we're going to see.
Planned Parenthood's funding a lot of it.
So, Planned Parenthood is funding a lot of these things.
Which is sad, but if you can be there, please make the effort, go. Find some like-minded folks. Let me know. Let Brandon know. Let Jared know. We will get you in the right spot at the right time. Please, please, please show up.
And I want to give a plug to our next meeting, June 27th, 6 p.m. The Lawrence County Republican Party will be meeting at the Lawrence County Courthouse. So put it on your calendar. June 27th, 6 p.m. The Lawrence County Republican Party is going to be meeting at the Lawrence County Courthouse. Our guest speaker is going to be the Beacon Center of Tennessee. And Jared, you've got some contact with them.
Yeah, the Beacon Center is one of the nation's foremost think tanks and PACs to support school choice. And you know what? I'll tell you what, like, this is something that in this room will be very popular to say, but let's look at school shootings. I mean, guns have been in America forever. Semi-automatic rifles, and quite frankly, up until 1982, you could buy a fully automatic rifle in America with really no problem. You know what I mean? After it was a McDonald's shooting, it was Ronald Reagan banned fully automatic weapons. So it was easy to buy a fully automatic weapon. What was the difference between 1960 and today in our schools? We had prayer in school.
That's right.
Yeah, we did.
It was okay to talk about God in school. Yeah. Actually, the founding of our country for the first couple hundred years, the Bible was the book that we used to teach kids to read on.
Absolutely.
And we teach morality. We had the 10 Commandments up. We took all that stuff out of school.
Yep.
The guns haven't changed in America. I mean, we've had access to firearms in this country for a very, very long. And I'm not going to say there was never school shootings, but it was not at this volume. So what has changed? The access to firearms, if anything, have got more and more difficult. I mean, my grandpa tells me, they used to buy guns in the Sears and Roebuck catalog. There was no background check. You ordered in the Sears and Roebuck's catalog, and it came in the mail.
Yeah.
And that was it. Like, there was no background check. There was no nothing. So think about that, and this dovetails right into school choice. School choice, there's different kinds of school choice. Some folks say they're for school choice. They're for a watered-down school choice that are going to make the charter schools and the private schools take the money as messed up as our public schools are.
Oh, yeah.
We are for the kind of school choice that the money follows the student.
Right.
So you're a taxpayer. The left has been telling us for 40 years. Like, if you don't have kids, people go, well, I don't have kids. Why do I pay property tax?
Right.
You pay property tax to live in an educated society. That's what the left has been telling us. The left has been saying, do you want the teller at Walmart to be able to count your change?
Yep.
If you're an employer, do you want to be able to hire an educated people to work for you? Do you, like, if you need an HVAC guy, like, he needs to be able to read, and he needs,
sure.
So you don't pay taxes for your kid to go to school. You pay taxes to live in an educated society. The left's been telling us that forever.
Right.
So, okay, but here's the thing. Why doesn't the money follow the student? Why do we have a monopoly that only government schools, they're not public schools, because they're not listening to the parents. They are government-run schools. They're government-run schools from D.C., from Nashville. And, I'll tell you what, like...
They're actually government indoctrination centers.
Yeah, the government indoctrination centers. That's absolutely...
I'm not going to hold back on this one, because when you see parents being arrested at school board meetings, that is terrible. We ought to be having a special session over our school systems.
We ought
to be having.
100%.
There are a lot of reasons we could be having special sessions. And I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I had to throw that in.
But school choice, if and when we get the right school choice in this state,
which is important,
and people can take that money to educate their children consistent with their family's values, we will change this state. And I think if we do it right in this state, I think even less conservative states, it will work so well that the numbers will be overwhelming and crush them. And people will go, okay, this is what... I mean, here's the thing. Competition works in everything. Competition works in everything. If we had one automaker in America and everybody had to buy from that automaker, your family car wouldn't be, it would be 3 times as much money, and it would be bad because the automaker would go, well, I really don't care. Like,
they tried that in the 30s. It's called Volkswagen.
Well, they also tried. Remember when they tried to bring the Yugo to America?
Yes.
It couldn't compete. A communist country.
Right.
But here's the thing. We have communized our education. The government runs it. You have to pay for it if you use it or not. And if you want different education, you have to pay again because the money doesn't follow the student.
You know how to double the value of a Yugo? Fill it up with gas.
Actually, you know what? Not to digress, but I actually think that like if you had a running Yugo in good shape today, I think they're actually worth. I think they're like collector's items.
Look, I promise you, I have a family member that if she hears this radio show, she would think this is so funny. But she has a Yugo, and it's like the classy one.
I'm going to tell you, you might want to look at our Craigslist and see what that's going for. No joke.
I promise it doesn't run. But it's in the garage.
It might actually have more value than you think.
We're going to pull it with a pacer or something.
Yeah.
So what is
there you go.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Tie it up behind a couple of other vehicles.
You know what the top two things in the budget are right now? Top two. Got any guesses?
Education.
That's one of them. I think it's over $14 billion. What's the other one? TennCare.
Education.
TennCare, education. Those are the top two in the budget.
Where's the roads come in? Where's the infrastructure?
Oh, whoa, it's down there. It's like third or fourth.
Wow, that far down?
Mm-hmm.
Well, and you're talking about on the whole school choice, and the only person that would hate to see competition is the one who's controlling the monopoly. So what the citizens of this state need to know, and I believe that if we could lay it out so that everyone could see school choice, I believe Democrats would like it. I'm telling you, I know Kip's looking at me like I don't know about that, but I think there's a lot of Democrats,
a couple of them,
that would like it, and if they could see it. And see the fact that if we could get in front of the growth that's coming into Lawrence County, let's bring it back down to Lawrence County specific. Because if you're going to educate somebody on something, you got to show how it applies to them. So let's talk about it on this level. Right here in Lawrence County, we've had meetings about impact fees. A meeting we were at today, they were talking about impact fees. They talk about these things. I'm not even going to say the word CODE. I don't want to even say that word. Don't say it. Don't say it. I don't even know who brought it up. But here's the thing. So we see these things about the growth that's coming in Lawrence County. We're going to be looking at how to finance school systems. Right now, Summertown needs a new school. So what are we talking, $60 to $80 million?
Yeah, it's a lot. We need one bad. That's where I live, and it's a lot.
So we're looking at how we're going to finance it. We got to finance the school. If we could get in front of the growth with school choice, and start pushing schools, and we've got some private schools. We just talked to one today. We're working on getting them here on the radio in the next couple of weeks.
Cool.
Talking about schools that are private schools in this county with already 100+ kids. What if they could triple or more in size and pull that growth that's coming into this county? I'm going to say this, and it's probably going to make some people. I'm going to give people a cold chill with this statement.
Oh.
And it was. I think you said it earlier, so I'm going to re-quote Jared Menz. So if somebody doesn't like what I say, if you like it, this is Brandon Taylor. If you don't, my name's Jared Menz. But here's the thing. We're about to finance building a school for people that currently live in California. I'm just going to give you a minute to let that soak in. They currently live in California. They're going to be moving here, and you, taxpayers of Lawrence County, taxpayers are going to pay for a school system because they're going to move here. We're going to see this growth. And it's going to push its way down. And here's what's even worse. For those of you that live on the south end of the county, those of you in Loretto, you're going to pay for it. Oh, yeah. It's almost like a Donald Trump statement. Summertown's going to build a school, and Loretto's going to pay for it. You hate to say it, but I don't know how else to put it. Your grandkids are not going to benefit from it unless you move to Summertown.
Yeah.
So if we could get in front of this and start having people realize, hey, you know what? It's farmers, landowners, if you own a home in this county, if you ever intend to own a home
if you rent, let me tell you what, if you rent, the property taxes are going to be passed on to you.
100%.
When the property taxes double, your rent's going up.
Yep. Absolutely.
But here's the thing. Let's just to close the gap on this, let's explain the difference. If we have school choice, say we have enough slots. How many kids have we got in the public schools in Lawrence County right now?
Oh God,
it's 14 schools.
Okay,
so I don't.
But
some number we do know.
We have the amount of kids that to fill those slots. If we got school choice, and say in 10 years, 35% of the kids will go into private schools and charter schools because of real school choice. Here's the thing, that's probably about the amount of growth. So the government schools would need about the same amount of slots that they have. So the government schools are not going to have to spend a ton of money. Who's going to spend to build the infrastructure? Well, let me tell you what, if churches start building schools, and hey, here's the thing. Every private school, I mean, I know Brandon and I and Kip, I mean to speak for you, we talk about a lot of this for religious school. It don't have to. I mean, if there's a group out there that wants to start a school that is a secular school, but here's the thing. They have to burden the infrastructure cost instead of the taxpayers. And that's the whole problem with this growth. The growth, like you can argue, hey, if they build 10,000 houses in Summertown, those taxes are going to pay for the teachers. They're going to, but somebody has to pay for the bricks and mortar. And here's the thing: if we have charter, if we have private schools coming in, they're going to build their own structures.
That's right.
They're going to finance that, and if the religious schools, a lot of them, they're going to build them through passing the hat, and they're going to. But the people that want them are going to build them. The families are going to get the education they want. They're going to, and we want to hold these guys to standards, and quite frankly, I can almost guarantee you that, like, if you look at the Catholic school system in America, I just happen to know this off the top of my head. If you look at the Catholic school system in America, the largest single private school system in America, okay? And Catholic schools are not expensive. I mean, there's a lot of schools down in Nashville that are $35,000 a year. To compare them to Lawrence County High School probably isn't fair. Most folks in America can send their kids to a Catholic school for somewhere between $6,000 and $12,000. Okay, so they're running about comparable cost-wise to public education.
That's right.
If the Catholic school system was a state, so if the Catholic school system was one state, it would be the largest state in the United States school system. Like
they call that Rome. I'm just kidding.
There are more kids that go to Catholic school in America in total than go to public school in the state of California.
Wow.
And they beat every state in reading, in English, in like across the board. There is not one category that kids in the Catholic school system are behind on. So the thing is, like, we know the numbers. We know the numbers. The Catholic school system is the largest school system in America. And it's way above the average of every other state in the country.
Are you telling me the private sector can actually educate kids and do it more effectively than
Murray
the public
County,
sector can?
right?
That's a joke, but
when you look at Murray County, prime example. I read a study on it. It's been 6 months ago or so, but the public school system in Murray County either didn't grow in a year, or it had like 1 or 2% growth. Now, we know Murray County is one of the fastest, if not the fastest growing county in the state.
Yep.
Why are their public schools not growing? You got Zion Christian Academy.
Right.
They're exploding.
Right.
You got Columbia Academy. They're exploding. I mean, I think Zion was like 35% in 1 year. CA was something ridiculous.
So they're picking up a lot of growth.
Agathos. There's another one I can't remember right now. But the private schools are picking up all that growth.
And it's not costing the taxpayers a burden if we could put that money back in the hands of
but,
parents.
But here's the thing. The sad thing about this is, and the Democrats say they're for the working people, here's the problem with the numbers you're giving us from Murray County is. Who could participate in that? I mean, to send your kids to private schools, you have to be making six figures. Like if you're a working guy, so what that does is it's setting.
And it's not a tax write-off.
No.
Nope.
It's setting up a two-tier system.
That's
it's
right.
setting up
It
like,
is.
you know what? If you're a working man, if you're working in a factory or something, you can't afford. I mean, I think what is Christ Academy here? I think they're 6,000. We're going to have them on. We're going to let them talk about it. But in the Catholic school in town here, $6,000 or $7,000. But you think about it, a guy that's making $20 an hour, it's not affordable. So here's the problem. When you have a system where, people are sending their kids to private schools, the people that are making six figures are sending their kids to private schools, or the people that make the choice that the husband and wife are both going to have to work to afford it, and they're using one of the salaries to support the private schools. But here's the problem. Like, why is this? The sad thing about it is all those people, guess what? All those people who living in houses, guess where their tax dollars are going? Their tax dollars are going to the schools that their kid isn't using.
Kid's not even
And so we're up against teacher union lobbyists.
Yep.
And so I'm saying this, here I am, chairman of the Lawrence County Republican Party. We're going to have to go up against Republicans. And I'll tell you what's the influence, and I'm just going to call it for what it is. I'm not trying to be politically correct. I'm not here because I love the Republican Party. Sure. I'm here because I want to change the Republican Party.
Amen.
And so I want to make it better. I don't want to just leave it status quo. If you don't like something about the Republican Party, get on the boat. Right. We can make it. We can work on this and fix it. Exactly. But we've got to get active because we're going to be up against it. And when I say we, I say the voters, the citizens, the property owners, the parents. We're up against the lobbyists of the teacher unions not wanting this to happen. And here's why. As soon as we create an environment to where these schools that you're talking about, these private schools already functioning, and I've talked to pastors in this county that want to do private schools. They want to do Christian academy schools. When this happens, and you create this other option, and they don't have the monopoly, I'm going to tell you a side effect that's going to happen. And I can use my imagination. I almost want to laugh when I say this. It's going to clean up the public school system. They're going to say, whoa, no more, don't get political in here. We're only talking about English and reading. We're going back to the basics. You're going to hear the public school system's going to have a banner outside going, we're going back to the basics. Put your rainbows in your pockets. Yep. No indoctrination here. You know why? Off. Because people will pull their kids out of that school, and the private schools will be putting banners out saying, bring your kids over here. Yep. Here's our test scores. They'll be putting their test scores in the local newspaper. It'll be on their Facebook page. Well, come take a look at our test scores. Yeah. We want your kids. It's not going to raise taxes. It'll keep taxes low because we won't have to build this infrastructure, and it's already money that's already been spent in the public school systems. I thank God for Lawrence County school systems. If somebody's listening and they're a teacher, thank you for what you do.
God love you.
My thing is, my goal here is to provide you a better option. I believe there are Christian school teachers in Lawrence County that would like to work in a Christian school and possibly even get paid better because the private sector can get you the benefits you need. They're going to spend that money in a better way. Exactly. So June 27th, if this is a topic that interests you and you're listening to the show today, maybe you're listening online. If you're listening to this and you know someone that might need to hear it, forward this podcast. Send it to them. Send it to them on YouTube. Let them hear this because on June 27th at 6 p.m. at Lawrence County Courthouse, in the upstairs courtroom, we're going to have the Beacon Center of Tennessee, and we're going to be talking about this topic. And hopefully we'll have a good crowd turnout. I would like to hear them educate. We've got to be educated on this. Past the point of no return. I keep hearing people say that statement keeps being said over and over and over again. We're past the point of no return, Brandon. I agree. So we've got to pick our destination from this point forward, and we've got to chart the course.
Is it Jordan Long who's coming? Do you know? You remember from the Beacon Center?
They didn't tell me for sure. I believe it is one of. See, they actually have lobbyists as well, and so
Jordan's a good guy.
We're going to get behind some of these guys, and they actually want elected officials. So if you know, I'm inviting you.
Oh yeah, I know them very well. I've worked with them when I was in Nashville.
Clay Doggett. I hope that maybe Senator Wally will be there.
The folks meeting we had with them, we were talking about our representatives, and we said that Kip Capley. They said, oh yeah, he's.
They knew you by name.
They liked you. They said, yeah. They said he's 100% with this. But here's the thing: like Kip is our rep, but he can't control this. So one of the things that we're going to do, and we'll do it. I'll do it right now, but we're going to really do it in the meeting. Is we're going to have a call to action. What we want to do is we want people to understand this issue. And once they understand it, we believe that the vast majority are going to support it. We want calls going to Governor Lee's office. We want calls going to Senator Wally's office. We want calls going.
We want a special session.
We want a special session. But we want people to call, because to make this happen in Lawrence County, we need. Kip can't do it alone. Like Kip has one vote, and this is his area, and he can go. My guys want it down there, but we need to let people. I mean, this is a Republican-controlled state. We got a supermajority. We should be able to get things through that we want. And I'm going to tell you, if you want to see a difference in the culture, hey, the liberals figured this out with Woodrow Wilson.
Yeah.
That's when they started taking over the schools. Yep. And then the New Deal, and the thing is, it was all subtle. You know what I mean? And then it just kept progressing. They took the prayer out of school, and COVID brought schools into people's homes, and they're like, what are you talking about? Like, they're watching their kids' classes, and they're like, what is this? And that's really ignited this issue. And I'll tell you what, we could change the culture very quickly
100%.
By fixing, like, the liberals they're not stupid.
No,
and this literally, you can trace.
They may look stupid, but
you can trace this back. You can trace this back to Woodrow Wilson, though, in the 20s.
Like, are you serious? That hair? Sorry.
Oh, man.
I'm picturing liberals here.
Hey. If you're conservative and you got purple hair,
you're lying.
okay.
I'm not politically correct. We'll edit this part out. We'll redact this part out. Okay?
There's no redacted on the radio.
Okay. Well, I'm going to have fun doing this, or we're going to go do something else.
We might get kicked off YouTube and Facebook, but there's no redactions on the radio.
Well, that's how you get verified. You have to be kicked off Facebook or been put in what they call Facebook jail or things like that now. So once we get that down, we'll know that we're actually true conservatives here on this show. So yeah,
that's true.
And next Wednesday, let me say this: next Wednesday at 5:00 here on this radio station, we're going to have Tennessee State Representative Scott Sapicki. He's going to be in the studio with us. And actually, I talked to one of his assistants and talked to them a little bit. In the letter that we sent out that so many of the Lawrence County citizens signed from the Lawrence County Republican Party, one of the first things that was mentioned to me, did you guys put that letter together? And I said, yes. And we signed it. I mean, he loved it. We're not in his district. I mean, he's driving down. He had to ask for the address to where the radio station's going to be. So I've been on the phone with the Tennessee Republican Party. Their press secretary set up the time, and he wants to come down. He wants to be a part of what we're doing here. He was thrilled. He was stoked about the letter we sent out. So everyone that did sign that letter, I want to tell you, it matters. Just signing your name on that letter has brought a state rep's attention to come to your county.
Yep.
To hear what we have to say. So, we're pulling folks in that I know we've got Kip and we talk about him. We talk about Doggett being here. These guys are good friends of ours. But to be able to pull folks in from other districts, we have Joey Hensley was here in studio with us last week. We had a great time with Joey Hensley.
Shout out Joey.
And so, we're seeing it pull together. And this radio hour that we're doing every week, this belongs to the Lawrence County Republican Party. This belongs to you folks that are out there. You're coming to the meetings. You're getting involved. I want to get you fired up. I want you to know we're not losing. We're winning. We have a super majority. You said it, Jared. We have a super majority in the state of Tennessee. Mm-hmm. My question is, what do you folks want to do with it? Mm-hmm. Because it's really the old statement, you don't use it, you lose it. That's really true. We're starting to flounder a little bit in the state of Tennessee. No offense, Kip, not picking on you, but some of your counterparts out there that are out there and your co-representatives out there that you're with, we're starting to lose it. And they don't look very conservative anymore. And last week, and I want to touch on this with you, I want your opinion. I mentioned this on this show. I asked Joey Hensley, I said, Joey, it looks like a war inside the Republican Party right now. Mm-hmm. And he agreed. Yeah. There's a war to pull the Republican Party. What we see and we hear about it, I heard someone telling me about someone just yesterday. Mm-hmm. Jared, you and I were in a meeting. Someone was telling us just yesterday that their father was a Democrat, always voted Democrat, but now he told his own son, he said, I can't even vote Democrat, doesn't even look the same. The Democrat Party drove off the left cliff and left a lot of people behind. So what's happening, in my opinion, I want you to respond to it, Kip. There is a battle going on to try to pull the Republican Party over to what the Democrats used to be. Yep. And so if people don't want that in Lawrence County and Murray County and Tennessee as period, then they're going to have to get involved. What do you think? Is there a war?
Yeah, I think my short answer, and I've thought this for a long time, I don't really think there's Republicans and Democrats anymore. I think you're either conservative or you're a liberal. Now there's, we've got people that claim to be moderates, and that is what that is, but that's
that's a Democrat that can't get elected.
You can see the divide if you kind of pay attention as far as like how the votes go and some of the different issues that we have on the floor. We have 75 Republicans out of 99. I mean, so obviously if it's a Republican ideal, it's going to get pushed through. We've got the votes no matter what. But on certain issues, you can really tell if you pay attention to what goes on the floor. You can tell who's conservative and who's moderate. And a lot of times, at least since I've been up there, to me, and I was going to say I hate to say this, but I don't really hate to say it. I don't really worry about Democrats when I'm in Nashville because they don't. Man, this is going to sound so bad. They don't really matter. I mean, as far as like, because I count votes, right? I count votes. That's what I do when I go before a committee. I'm counting votes. Right. Obviously, if I can get a Democrat to vote for something that I want to do, great, cool, awesome.
How's that possible?
Yeah, exactly. Most of them, it's not. Now, there's a couple that you can talk to, but really, it's urban Republicans versus rural Republicans, or conservative Republicans versus moderates. That's what it is. You got the moderate side and you got the conservative side, and we're just bashing heads the whole
Well, your Lawrence
time.
County Republicans are very different than your Chamber of Commerce Republicans
Exactly.
from Williamson County.
Sure.
I mean, and they and let's be honest, to some degree, they have a different constituency. Like their constituency is very, very different. And so there is going to be some differences.
There is. We've got two guys from Memphis, Mark White and John Gillespie. John Gillespie has a very purple district. I think he won with like 51% of the vote. So his thought process on things, theoretically, is going to be different than mine. You know, I'm in an 82% Republican district. That's who I represent. But when I'm in Nashville, I don't necessarily think Republican versus Democrat. I think conservative versus moderate.
But I'm just going to say, on school choice, if somebody is even a more moderate to possibly liberal Republican, unless they're taking money from Randy Weingarten, she's the head of the teachers union. Honestly, unless they're taking teacher union money, I just don't see how they could get to being against it. Because if I mean, like, literally, unless, and actually, even if you're a Democrat, unless you're in the pocket of the teachers union, I haven't heard a good argument against it. I really haven't heard a, and I'm not, and hey, I'm up for it. Like, if somebody wants to debate me on it, I'm give me a call. Show up the Republican Party meeting. If you are really against school choice, please come to the meeting. I'd love to hear. It's open to everybody.
Yeah.
The Republican Party meetings are not just for. We have community meetings.
Yep.
We do not sit there, just for folks that haven't been there. You know, Brandon and I, we had this discussion when we first started doing this. We said we are not going to have meetings for an hour and a half where we talk about Robert Rules of Order and who's going to be president next year, and because that's what a lot, and not just Republicans, both sides do that. We have business meetings, and if you're a member, you're more than welcome to come to them. We're not hiding anything.
Right.
If you want to come and sit there and talk about Robert's Rules of Order with me and Brandon, we'd love to have you.
Send us an email.
Yeah, send us an email. But here's the thing. What we do is we bring in community speakers.
Right.
When the hot topic issue in this county was codes, we had Dave Morgan come in. When, you know what? We have a substance abuse.
I believe he said it.
I said it. We know we have a substance abuse problem in this county. We had the people come in and do Narcan. And it is open to the public. Hey, we're talking about crisis in our schools this meeting. We have a alternative that we think is the right one. If you want to come, have a discussion with us, ask questions of the speaker, come on. Like, everyone is welcome to any of our meetings.
Absolutely.
You know, I heard it was a school shooting, and I'm not sure which one it was, but I was listening to a Mike Huckabee show or an interview, and someone asked Mike Huckabee, they said, Mike, where was your God during this school shooting? Where was your God at during that? And you know what Mike said? He was like, oh, God, you removed him out of school a long time ago. You know what I want to do as a Republican Party? Let's put God back into schools.
Let's give people the option to send their kids. Hey, you know what?
You can stay in public school if you want to.
Yeah, we lost that battle in the public schools, and we probably aren't going to turn the clock back on that. But you know what? Give me my money.
Yeah.
Let me take my money and put it in a school that does have God in it. Yeah. Because you know what? You know, what's that? It's my choice. My choice how my kids get educated.
My kid, my choice.
My kid, my choice.
My kid, my choice.
My kid, my choice.
That's exactly what it is.
Come on,
we got a t-shirt.
My kid, my choice. Come
School
on.
choice. Bring it on.
That's a t-shirt.
That is a t-shirt. We got to put a funny slogan for that one. We need a schoolhouse right behind it. You know, so
that's
it's my kid. It's my choice. Get your hands off my kid.
That's right.
Yeah. Is there a war in the Republican Party right now? Yeah. There is, but I don't think it's as bad as what. I'm a conservative, right? And I'll wrap this up real quick. I'm a conservative. I'm very conservative on 99.99% of all issues. Probably 100%.
I was going to say, what is that one?
Yeah, probably 100% of all issues. But we have members that are not as conservative as I am, and that's their prerogative. But I feel like at least with them, I can have a conversation with them because they're Republicans. The Democrats, there's no sense in talking to them.
No,
I mean a majority of them anyway.
No.
I can think of 4 that I know that I can have a conversation with. That's not just going to be derailed in 30 seconds. So the answer, yes, there is.
Well, again, before we get out of here, I want to tell everyone, be at our next meeting. The Lawrence County Republican Party is going to be having a meeting, and the topic is going to be school choice. June 27th at the Lawrence County Courthouse, upstairs courtroom, 6 p.m. We want you to be there. We won't be back on the radio between now and then, but we want you to be there. Go ahead and put it on your calendar. The Beacon Center of Tennessee will be there educating people. Come educate yourself. If you don't know, if you're a teacher and you want to hear about it, come talk about it.
Yeah.
I know we poked and made fun, but I mean, it's politics. We've got to lighten it up
we
a
love
little
the
bit.
teachers, though.
We love teachers.
I love teachers.
We have to have teachers. We're glad you
We
do
love
it.
'em.
I would not
Love
want to
them.
be a teacher.
We love
okay?
teachers. Absolutely.
So, and also next Wednesday, 5 o'clock here at the radio station, Scott Sapicki's going to be in studio with us. And hey, I appreciate everyone out there that's been listening. This radio station belongs, or this radio show rather, we've taken a station over. Let's go ahead and say that. We're going to make this thing belong
Probably
to the
just
Republican
violated some
Party.
FCC law, but that's fine.
Well, I got 2 reasons you can arrest me,
I
Jared.
will. I'll rest about the
You know
break.
what? Until then, we just want to tell everyone thank you. Thank all of our veterans, first responders.
That's right.
God bless you.
This is
God bless the United
WDXE,
States.
W287 AA, and W237 FD Lawrenceburg. Broadcast services of Prospect Communications.